What I discovered at my family's Thanksgiving dinner changed everything I thought I knew about loyalty and betrayal. My own mother looked me straight in the eye and said words that still make my blood run cold. I thought this would be our first peaceful holiday in years, but I was walking into a carefully orchestrated trap. The folder hidden under my father's napkin contained documents that would destroy everything I had built from scratch. In that moment, I made a decision that would tear our family apart forever, but save my life's work. What happened next shocked even me, and by the end of this story, you'll understand why I had no choice. But before we continue, check if you're already subscribed to the channel and write in the comments, where are you watching this video from? I noticed something wrong the moment I stepped through my parents' front door in suburban Cleveland. The house smells like turkey and deception, a combination I've unfortunately learned to recognize. Mom's hug lasts 3 seconds too long, her fingers gripping my shoulders with unusual intensity. Dad's handshake feels like a business transaction, his eyes darting toward the dining room where muffled voices suggest my siblings are already gathered. "Scarlett? Honey, you look tired," Mom says, taking my coat with theatrical concern. "Are you eating enough? All those long hours at the clinic must be exhausting." The clinic? Always the clinic with them now. For 29 years, I was invisible in this family. The middle child who studied while my older brother Jake played football and my younger sister, Madison, collected beauty pageant trophies. I was the one who worked 3 jobs through college, who slept on library couches during medical school, who ate ramen noodles for 2 years straight to afford my physical therapy doctorate. Now that Riverside physical therapy is booming, suddenly I'm the favorite daughter they always believed in. The irony tastes bitter as Mom's famous apple pie. The dining room table showcases Mom's best china, the Waterford crystal that only appears for major announcements or manipulation attempts. Jake sits across from Madison, both wearing smiles that remind me of sharks circling wounded prey. My brother's latest startup failed 6 months ago. Madison's influencer career peaked at 12,000 followers before her sponsored content dried up. "There's our little entrepreneur," Jake announces, as I take my seat. His tone carries that condescending edge he's perfected since childhood, when he'd pat my head after I won academic awards while he collected football trophies. Dad carves the turkey with surgical precision, each slice deliberate and measured. That's when I spot it. A manila envelope tucked beside his water glass, its corner peeking out like a snake preparing to strike. "So, Scarlett," Dad begins, setting down his carving knife with calculated precision, "we've been discussing the future of your practice." The words hit like ice water. I set my fork down carefully, muscle memory from years of family dinners where emotional landmines exploded without warning. "My practice is doing fine, thank you." Madison leans forward, her perfectly contoured face radiating false concern. "But you're working yourself to death, sis. Running a business alone is so stressful. We're family, we should help each other." The rehearsed nature of her words becomes obvious when Jake jumps in seamlessly. "Dad and I have been researching business partnerships. Family businesses are statistically more successful when they leverage everyone's strengths." Mom appears with a second bottle of wine, filling glasses with the enthusiasm of someone loosening tongues for an interrogation. "Remember when you were little, how you always wanted to help people? We raised you to value family above everything else." I remember differently. I remember being 7 years old with a broken arm, sitting in the emergency room for 4 hours because Jake's football game was more important than my pain. I remember high school graduation, where my valedictorian speech was interrupted by Madison's emergency text about a prom dress crisis. "What exactly are you proposing?" I ask, though my stomach already knows the answer. Dad retrieves the envelope with triumphant flourish. "We've had our attorney draft partnership papers. Jake would handle business development and marketing, given his entrepreneurial experience. Madison could manage social media and client relations. She understands the younger demographic. Your mother and I would provide strategic oversight." The room falls silent except for the grandfather clock ticking in the hallway, counting down seconds until my response determines our family's future. Jake spreads papers across the table like a poker player revealing a royal flush. "We're not asking for equal shares, Scarlett, just 40% total to compensate for our contributions. 40% of everything I built while they ignored my existence." "Contributions," I repeat slowly, the word tasting like poison. What contributions exactly? Madison's smile falters for the first time since I arrived. Well, moral support, obviously. And Jake's business experience? Jake's business experience? I interrupt, feeling something dangerous stirring in my chest. You mean the food truck that lasted 6 months? Or the app that never launched? Or the cryptocurrency investment that lost your wife's inheritance? Jake's face reddens. Those were learning experiences. I know what mistakes to avoid now. And Madison, I continue, momentum building like an avalanche. Your social media expertise. You lost 3 brand partnerships for posting problematic content. Your follower count drops daily because you can't maintain consistent engagement. Mom's wine glass freezes halfway to her lips. Dad's confident expression cracks around the edges. They expected grateful compliance, not factual resistance. Scarlett Marty Mom's voice carries that warning tone from childhood. We're trying to help you. Are you? I stand, pacing to the window where frost patterns remind me of the ice in my veins, because I distinctly remember asking for help 3 years ago when I was applying for my business loan. What did you tell me, Dad? His silence answers everything. You said, and I quote, "Physical therapy is a saturated market. You should consider something more practical, like nursing." You refuse to co-sign my loan application. The turkey grows cold while old wounds hemorrhage fresh blood. You didn't attend my grand opening because Jake had a job interview that day. You missed my first anniversary celebration because Madison had a modeling portfolio shoot. You've never set foot in my clinic during business hours. Madison's mascara threatens to run. We've been busy with our own lives. Busy. I laugh without humor. I worked 80-hour weeks for 2 years. I lived on protein bars and determination. I slept on the clinic's treatment table when I couldn't afford both rent and malpractice insurance. Where was this family support then? Dad attempts to regain control. The past is the past. We're talking about the future. No. We're talking about opportunism. I return to my seat with predatory calm, reaching for my purse with deliberate slowness. Since we're discussing business proposals, I have something to share too. My leather portfolio emerges like a weapon drawn for battle. Dad's confident expression wavers as I arrange documents with the same precision he used to carve turkey. This is a financial analysis I commissioned last month. I slide the first page toward him. It details the market value of services I've provided 2 family members over the past 3 years. Mom's wine glass trembles in her hands. Jake leans forward, squinting at numbers that spell doom for their narrative. Dad's shoulder rehabilitation after his golf injury, $2,400. Mom's sciatica treatment, $1,800. Jake's sports massage therapy for that marathon you never actually ran, $1,200. Madison's postural correction sessions for your modeling photos, $1,600. The total glares from the bottom of the page in bold red ink, $7,000 in free treatment. Moving on, I produce another document. This itemizes the loans I've made to family members. Jake, remember when your food truck venture needed emergency funding? $3,000, still unpaid. Madison, those modeling headshots that were going to launch your career? $1,500, still unpaid. Madison's face matches her crimson lipstick. Those were gifts, not loans. Interesting interpretation. I slide her signed promissory notes across the table. Your signature suggests otherwise. Dad's business mask finally slips completely. You documented family transactions? I documented business transactions with family members who consistently treated me like a personal ATM. My voice carries steel now. Forged in years of dismissed dreams and ignored achievements. And before you claim this is about money, let me clarify what this is actually about. I stand again, towering over their seated forms for the first time in my life. This is about respect, about recognition, about the fact that you ignored my existence until my success became profitable for you. Jake pushes back from the table. This is insane. We're your family. Family celebrates achievements. Family offers support before success arrives. Family doesn't wait until someone builds something valuable before claiming ownership. Furthermore, I continue, producing a third document. I've been tracking some interesting social media activity. Madison goes pale beneath her foundation. She knows what's coming. This is a screenshot of your Instagram story from last week. Madison, You told your followers that you're managing family business operations and expanding into wellness consulting. I read directly from the printout. Interesting, since you've never worked at my clinic. That was just she starts. And Jake, your LinkedIn profile currently lists you as business development consultant for Riverside Physical Therapy. When exactly did I hire you for this position? Jake's mouth opens and closes like a suffocating fish. Dad reaches for the partnership papers as if they could somehow salvage this sinking ship. Most interesting of all, I continue, savoring each word, is this conversation I recorded last month. I pull out my phone, finger hovering over the play button. Mom, remember our phone call after the Hendersons' dinner party? You were quite chatty about our family business and how successful we've been. Mom's face transforms from confusion to horror. You recorded our private conversation? I recorded your lies about my business. I press play. Mom's voice fills the dining room, tinny, but unmistakable. Oh yes, we're so proud of what we've built together. Scarlett couldn't have done it without family support. We're expanding next year. The recording continues for 30 excruciating seconds before I stop it. The silence that follows feels like a funeral for our family relationship. How dare you? Dad's voice shakes with rage. Recording family conversations is legal in Ohio. I interrupt. One-party consent state. I researched thoroughly before documenting your pattern of taking credit for my achievements. Madison's tears are real now. Mascara streaking down her cheeks like black rivers. Scarlett, please. We're family. We can work this out. Work? What? Out. Your plans to take 40% of my life's work. Your systematic campaign to convince our community that you built my success. I gather my documents with methodical precision, or work out how you'll explain to the Hendersons why your family business doesn't actually include you. There's one more thing, I say, reaching into my portfolio's final compartment. This arrived yesterday. The legal letterhead catches Dad's attention immediately. His eyes widen as he recognizes his own attorney's logo. Apparently, Dad, you contacted Mr. Morrison about drawing up incorporation papers for Riverside Physical Therapy as a family corporation. You listed yourself as founder and president. The color drains from Dad's face completely. Jake stares at his father with dawning realization of how deep this conspiracy runs. Mr. Morrison called me directly. Of course, since I'm his actual client. He was confused about your authority to restructure my business without my consent or knowledge. I unfold the letter, reading aloud. Please clarify the ownership structure of Riverside Physical Therapy, as Mr. Hera Lee claims to be the founding partner, which conflicts with our records showing Ms. Scarlett Lee as sole proprietor. Mom's wineglass slips from nerveless fingers, shattering on the hardwood floor. The sound punctuates the destruction of our family bonds. You tried to legally steal my business. The words hang in the air like smoke from a funeral pyre. You actually consulted an attorney about taking ownership of the company I built with my own hands, my own money, my own sacrifices. Dad's mouth works soundlessly. Jake looks physically sick. Madison has stopped crying, staring at our father with the horrified expression of someone seeing a monster where a parent used to be. How long? I ask, quietly. How long have you been planning this? The silence stretches until Mom breaks first. Since the second quarter profit reports came in, your father thought, we all thought, ... You thought I was too stupid to protect myself. I complete her sentence with brutal honesty. You thought the daughter you ignored for 29 years would be grateful for your attention, even if it came with a price tag. I fold the letter carefully, placing it back in my portfolio. Well, you were wrong. Here are my terms, I announce, my voice cutting through their shocked silence like a scalpel. All of you will immediately remove any reference to Riverside Physical Therapy from your social media profiles and professional listings. Jake opens his mouth to protest, but I continue without pause. You will publicly clarify that you are not partners, employees, or consultants for my business. Any future misrepresentation will result in legal action for fraudulent advertising and defamation. Madison's tears have stopped. She stares at me with something resembling respect for the first time since childhood. All outstanding loans will be repaid within 60 days, or I will file civil suits for debt recovery. Interest has been accruing at 7% annually since the original loan dates. Mom finally finds her voice. Scarlett? Honey, please. We're your family. This is just a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding. I pull out my phone, scrolling through saved screenshots. This is your Facebook post from 2 months ago. So proud of OUR Family Clinic's success. Hard work pays off when we all pull together. You tagged 27 people in this lie. Dad attempts one last power play. You're being emotional and irrational. Business decisions shouldn't be made in anger. Anger. I laugh, the sound sharp as broken glass. Dad, this isn't anger. This is calculated justice. Anger would have been burning your partnership papers and storming out. This is me protecting my investment from hostile takeover attempts by people I trusted. I stand, gathering my coat from the back of my chair. I've spent 3 years building something incredible while you pretended I didn't exist. Now that it's valuable, you want to claim credit and ownership. That's not family. That's parasite. The word parasitism hangs in the air, like a biological classification of their behavior. Jake makes one final attempt. What if we just helped with marketing? No ownership stake. Just access to my client database, trade secrets, and profit margins. I shake my head. Jake, your last marketing campaign convinced people that gluten-free pizza could cure depression. I'll handle my own marketing. One final item, I say, pulling out a thick envelope from my coat pocket. These are invoices for all future family medical services. Effective immediately, you'll pay standard rates like any other patients. Mom gasps as if I'd slapped her. You can't charge your own family for healthcare. Watch me. I drop the envelope on the table. I've provided $11,000 in free medical care while you plan to steal my business. That generosity ends today. Dad's businessman facade crumbles completely, revealing the manipulative father who taught me that love comes with conditions. If you walk out that door, Scarlett, you're no longer part of this family. The threat that would have devastated me at 15-25, even last year, now feels like liberation. Dad, I stopped being part of this family the moment you tried to steal from me. I'm just making it official. Madison stands suddenly, her voice stronger than I've ever heard it. Wait, Scarlett. What Dad did was wrong. The attorney thing. The lying. That's not okay. She looks at our parents with something approaching disgust. I didn't know about the legal stuff. I thought we were just asking for jobs. Jobs you're not qualified for. I remind her gently. Madison, you can't handle your own finances. Why would I trust you with my business accounts? She nods slowly, accepting truth for perhaps the first time in her privileged life. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Jake remains silent, staring at the partnership papers as if they might spontaneously combust from shame. I walk to the front door, turning back for one final look at the family that shaped me through neglect and abandonment. When I was 8 years old, I told you I wanted to be a doctor who helped people walk again. You said it was a nice dream for a little girl. My hand rests on the doorknob, freedom within reach. I made that dream reality despite your dismissal, your absence, and now your betrayal. I don't need your partnership. Never did. The door closes behind me with finality that echoes through the autumn evening. 6 months later, I stand in the expanded lobby of Riverside Physical Therapy, watching my team of 12 qualified professionals help patients reclaim their mobility and strength. The walls displayed genuine testimonials, legitimate awards, and my authentic credentials. No family photos or fake partnership announcements. My phone buzzes with a text from Madison. Saw your clinic featured in Cleveland Magazine. Genuinely proud of you. No strings attached. Jake's LinkedIn profile now honestly lists him as unemployed, seeking opportunities. Dad's attorney forwarded a formal apology and withdrawal of all incorporation attempts. Mom's social media mentions of my business have disappeared completely. The loans remain unpaid, and I've filed liens accordingly. Sometimes justice requires patience and paperwork. Dr. Jennifer Walsh, my mentor from physical therapy school, stops by for our monthly coffee. You look different, she observes, settling into the chair across from my desk. Lighter somehow. I cut 400 pounds of dead weight, I reply, thinking of family members who valued my success more than my existence. It's amazing how much energy you regain when you stop carrying people who refuse to walk on their own. My appointment calendar shows solid bookings for 3 months out. The patient satisfaction scores hit 98% last quarter. 2 medical schools have requested me as a guest lecturer. Most importantly, I sleep peacefully now, no longer wondering when the people closest to me will demand payment for their minimal presence in my life. My family taught me an invaluable lesson. Sometimes the people who claim to love you the most are the ones most willing to exploit your success. The difference between support and parasitism becomes crystal clear when money enters the equation. I built Riverside Physical Therapy with my own hands, my own sacrifices, and my own determination. It belongs to me completely, not because I'm selfish, but because I earned it while they looked the other way. The best revenge isn't getting even. It's succeeding so thoroughly that their absence becomes irrelevant, and their desperate attempts to claim credit become obviously pathetic. I am Scarlett Lee, and I heal people who value healing, starting with myself.